slide them on in. That goes in there. And boom, we got our waterproof camera that we're going to take to Disney and do all kinds of fun stuff with. Okay, that video I put up late last night, you remember I put it up in yesterday's vlog. It was like 11 o'clock by the time it was published. Getting up now, it's about 10 in the morning and it's already at 5,000 views. And this is just a video where it's just me talking to the viewer, showing off this comic book that we made. So that's very encouraging and very cool. Thanks everybody who's watched it in the first like barely 12 hours. And now I gotta upload today's video. So let's look at the time. Oh, there you go. Remember I said it's 10 a.m.? It's 9:59 right on the dot. So let's see how fast I get this thing done. Tommy Napper did the audio sync and the chopping, so it's on me to tighten it now and add the music and sound effects and any special effects in. There's a woman named Catherine you've seen in this vlog here and there, and she just came in and dropped off this delicious lunch I'm excited to have. This is 2 days in a row now of sitting in this chair editing on this computer. My butt is feeling like it's done with this. My back is just starting to feel like it could use a change of scenery. But I'm exporting the video now, and then I gotta make a thumbnail and publish the thing. And I might even have time today to get down to Best Buy to get a micro SD card for this camera before I go see opening night of the movie Zoom. With the writer Matt Hansen's going to be there, so hopefully we can get him on the vlog here later tonight. You know what this reminds me of? You ever see 2001: A Space Odyssey? I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do an impression of Hal, can I? I'm sorry, Dave. I can't fulfill that request. You'd be surprised when you're trying to do impressions of what you can get away with. You don't have to sound like the person, as long as you can figure out whether they like push, their voice comes from here or from here, like you push from the diaphragm, or you speak from your throat. Do you hear the difference? Like right now I'm speaking from my throat, right now I'm pushing from my diaphragm. You hear the difference there, right? So when you're doing impressions, you can get away with a lot just by knowing where to push from. And that's impression tips. Look what I just found in like a little tiny plastic box that had a bunch of SD cards in it. Can you read that? It says micro SD. Remember how I needed to go to Best Buy to get a micro SD card for this camera? Well, now I don't. Alright, me and them are going out right now. We're going to the park where I'm taking the tripod and the new camera to test them all out. And I'm going to have to try to find something I can either buy or make so that I can attach the action camera to the dog's harness. Because it'd be fun to see the world from her perspective. Okay, you know how we do? We're going to do a snap for both cameras. Alright. So what up, vlog people? Here we are in the vlog camera in the park. I took the dog, and if you can see me on the other camera, if my calculations are correct, you should be seeing me dancing on the action cam over there. And looks like it needs some aiming. There we go. So right now I don't know if it has stopped recording or if it's just like, does the signal trouble mean that it's stopped recording, or does it mean that, oh, I see myself again and it's still recording? Okay, good. Alright, so this is just my little camera test. I think I had an idea about how to capture the dog's action with this action camera. And the idea that I had was that if I put it on the selfie stick upside down, then I can just flip the footage in post. Hi, Lemon. Hi, Lemon. What you doing, dog?
What's that? I'm gonna get you moving.
Come here, Lemon. Well, welcome to the Sean and Lemon after show. We just did some hardcore vlogging, and that's done now, so we're having a rest. Lemon, the star of the show, do you have anything to say at this momentous time? A girl of few words. That's my dog, Lemon. You know how sometimes they talk about you gotta stop and smell the roses? This is one of these times that they're talking about. It's very hot out today. Ooh, it wouldn't be great if the sound is good on this, because it's a much lighter than my other vlogging camera. So you're looking at, through the Action Cam, you're looking at the camera I usually use for vlogging. So this is, God damn it, there you go. That's the one I usually use. And yeah, this one seems really cool, and it's light and easy. I'm just keep looking at myself on the screen there. Now you're screen inception. Alright, so we're gonna go home and see how it looks, how it sounds. We're doing okay in the shade right now, but holy Jesus, is it hot today. Lemon's probably been out for as long as she's gonna be able to today. Coming out the door, I got reminded of the time I broke my neck. Let me tell you about it. See, this is why when I'm leaving any place where the door locks by itself, I've trained myself to be absolutely paranoid, but I can't let that door close unless I've made tactile that I cannot let the door close unless I am touching the keys. And here's why. A long time ago, one of my places I ever lived was I had the whole 3rd floor of a house to myself. It wasn't quite an apartment up there. I had my own bathroom, but I had to share the kitchen with the rest of the house. So I could open up the window, like you open up the door to my unit on the 2nd floor, and then started going, the stairs were right there, and then up you go into my apartment, and you could open the window that's at the top of the stairs and go out onto basically the roof of the kitchen, which I would do all of the time, having fun and going out there enjoying myself. And sorry, I'm just crossing, making sure I don't get hit by cars. So what happened is that this was a house where the door locked behind you when you left, and I quite often forgot my keys. So one time I clued in that next door the house had a TV antenna, one of them old school ones that like is basically a 3-sided kind of ladder that goes up the house and has a big contraption on the top. So I knocked on the door and I explained the situation and said that I remembered I had left my window open. Could I go in their backyard, climb up their TV antenna, and jump across the houses over to my roof? And they said, okay, sure. So I did it. I did it 2 more times. I did it once more, and it was the middle of the night, so I didn't ask. Shh. And then the 3rd time I did it, and now I'm really pushing my luck. It was a rainy night, and I climbed up that TV antenna. It was like probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And when I jumped across the roof and I landed on the other side, my heel, when it landed, slipped like this. So I fell and landed flat on my back. Now I didn't quite know how much distance I had got. So when I leaped across and slid and fell on my back, I had to do like a signal check. I remember like this pulsing sensation that I like sent through my whole nervous system, because I had to like determine, am I laying on my back on the roof, or am I in a crumpled heap 3 floors down? Like I had that momentary shudder of fear that I could be paralyzed. And it's almost as though I felt like a rip in the time-space continuum or something, where it's like 2
forks in the road of space and time. Like there's this alternate universe somewhere where it's like the neighbors found me in a crumpled heap, dead, having landed on the back of my neck 3 floors down between the houses. So that was the night that I wised up about how absolutely and potentially catastrophically foolish that whole solution of, whatever, I can just go up there a TV antenna and jump across. I realized how silly that notion was, and immediately set about making myself physically be touching the keys before I would let the door close every time I left the house, and to treat it like it could be life or death. As night begins to fall in the city. So there's the city at night down there. I just got out of this movie called Zoom, which is opening night. It's an indie film. It mixes live action and animation. It's this whole like thing where like reality loops in on itself, and it's like there's a cartoonist who created her character, is a movie director who created a character who's a writer who created a character who is that cartoonist who was the first character. So it's like these 3 layers where you lose track of what's real, what's not, who's making up who, and it's pretty crazy that way. I'm gonna show you more about that movie because I got an interview coming up with the writer of this movie next week. I just saw him at the theater, and we didn't do any vlogging, but we're gonna do a whole vlog with him next week, give you all the ins and outs of how they got the movie made. But the main thing I want to pop the camera on right now to talk to you about is that there's something about this particular area of Toronto, this whole young and college area, that always, I don't know, just makes me feel like I'm in a scene out of a movie. And I said to my dad one time, we're walking down Yonge Street, I said to him that like, I was born and raised in Toronto, and the whole feeling of like coming up out of the subway, coming out of a building into the downtown streets, and you're surrounded by the skyscrapers and all this kind of stuff, it never gets boring, it never gets old, the novelty never wears off.